Hi folks, this tutorial is just to quickly show you the change log in terms of, you find that in some schools you have multiple people accessing, let's say, admin records, and they do have data editing rights because obviously they're expected to be able to enter data into the system. But then some people make a mistake and say they click on the admin number and they bump it and it changes, or the surname, or take out a letter or delete a letter, or sometimes they even forget to use the binoculars, for example, into search, and they start typing an admin number in here. So let's say I do that. So this number here is 12127. Let's say I come in here and I change the number. Okay, so got something like that, and first of all it's going to bring up this message, which actually we've had in place already. This also works in the admin data section, which is where you see all the data in datasheet view, and it basically just says it's ill-advisable to change the admin number, and if you are genuinely attempting to do so, click yes, otherwise click no. So if you click no, then the number simply reverts back to what it was. But now let's say you have somebody who doesn't read that message, and so they come along and again they change the number, and they change the admin number and click away so that it tries to hold the change. And let's say they don't bother reading the message, what people do, and they just go, oh, what's that? And then they just click yes. Then it has accepted the changes, but of course you didn't want that to be the case, bearing in mind that as we state in that message, it is ill-advisable to change an administration number. It's ill-advisable to change a surname as well, but even more so an administrator number, because everything else comes off that administration number. So we've changed this administration number, so in the absentees table, for instance, where the old administration number is sitting, it will now not know who that learner is. That's essentially become an orphaned record, as they say. You can have a situation where we set it up so that it cascades, but of course in the case where, for instance, you perhaps say delete a record or delete a data and it cascades, it'll delete all the records all over and all the tables from that learner, and of course you don't always want that. You would like a situation where you can, if it was accidental, you can just reinstate the learner and everything else clicks back into line. So there are advantages and disadvantages, and we'd rather leave the records there and, as I say, have checks and balances in terms of data that you actually change. So okay, so this is changed and it comes to the attention of the administrator, who can intermittently go and check the change log anyway, but normally it comes to the attention of the administrator down the line when some sort of report is missing a learner now, or something where it's become apparent. So if you go to check entries and you click on change log, you will see that at this particular time, okay, my time here, 4:43, that was the time the change was made. You can see it's 4:45, but I've been rambling on for 2 minutes. It was the admin number field. The user was Blaze. The data was 12127 and it was 23434. So what I can do is copy, and also this is uneditable. This entire document is uneditable even to the main administrator. So one cannot come in here and fabricate records, for instance, and try to accuse somebody else of something. So, alright. So one can therefore go back to the admin record screen and change the record back to what it was. Okay. You'll notice there that we actually do have an extra layer as well, where it asks you to save the record, which the person who's made the mistake may do as well, because again they just click through things. So what you'll see when we close here, it's actually going to say, do you want to save the record? So it's the third tier of protection actually. And again, you can actually have a record of the correction as well in the change log. which we can see here is now 446 was the admin number, and we changed it basically back to what it was. Okay, now just to quickly demonstrate, this also works on the surname. So let's say the surname changed to 11. Again, slightly shorter message, because as I say, the surname changing doesn't affect the database, so to speak, but of course you don't want a learner walking around with a surname different to what they should have. Would cause confusion on class lists, and etc. So, okay, so let's say the user just clicked yes because they didn't know what they were doing, and you closed. Right, again, you could come to the change log, and you can see the field change this time was surname, the user was Blaze, okay, and let's change from that to that. So quite simply, you can, as the administrator, come back to the admin records screen. As I say, this also works the same way in admin data. Okay, click yes. I want to make the changes so they are now correct. So you can see in the change log the correction has been made. So essentially you have an audit trail of any changes to these two very key fields. That concludes this tutorial.